that in England, that even though
well, except pasta.
Pasta's almost exactly like it.
Yeah,
but
we've got pasta.
It's not ours though, is it? And we don't know how to eat it.
What do you mean we don't know how to eat it?
We do it all wrong.
You stick it up your arse again.
Look at me, I know how to fucking eat it.
No, but what I mean is, if you saw a proper Italian and they saw what we did to pasta, they would not be happy.
What are we doing wrong? Tell me what we're doing wrong.
Well, I don't know that, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it wrong.
How do you know we're doing it wrong?
I've just heard we do it wrong. It's like how we have the coffee at all the wrong times. I ordered a cappuccino somewhere and the Italian fella said you shouldn't be having that now, it's a breakfast coffee.
Yeah, it is, before 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but I was having it at like 11:15 at night.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's absurd. How are you going to get to sleep with a lovely cup of coffee?
Yeah, that's
Well, I
a good
don't
point.
sleep anyway,
You
do
shouldn't
I?
drink coffee anyway at night. There was cappuccino
No
or
wonder he was
frappuccino or mocha. Doesn't matter. Don't drink coffee after about 4 in the afternoon anyway. Full stop.
So hang on. So you love pasta, but you're not eating it right. So you'd like to be Italian in order to be able to eat pasta correctly, even though you enjoy the pasta you eat.
What do you feel being Italian is, and what's attractive
It's
to being?
just very sort of it's a relaxed lifestyle. Whenever you go to Italy, everyone's sat outside a cafe. It doesn't matter what sort of person you are.
That's all you do now with your spare time is sit outside a cafe.
But they get more respect over there.
Why?
It's like it's okay to do that. There's older people sat outside cafes who do nothing.
I
and it's
love the
just
fact that he
they're
wants to
probably
be
retired.
Italian so he can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than he does now sitting outside a cafe.
No, but everyone's rushing about here. People have like colder coffee. They have frappuccinos here because they haven't got time to have a hot coffee. It's like they've got a coffee with ice in so I can neck it. Get down my neck and get on with my day. Relax, enjoy your coffee. I don't understand the rush.
You never enjoy anything. You said that you don't enjoy anything. You don't enjoy a coffee. When you're having a coffee, you're probably going, oh, I don't know if I can enjoy it yet, in retrospect. And tomorrow I'll go, I like that coffee yesterday.
But the reason you enjoy Italy is because when you were there, you're on holiday. That's why you're able to chill out and relax.
No.
When you say it's old people sat in some little Sicilian village. Of course they got no money.
Here, I went to the Salvation Army.
Right.
Why?
Because it's nice.
What do you mean?
You can get toast and a cup of tea for £1.
Oh, you little skinflint.
Right.
You little roundy
There's
heady
nothing
Scrooge.
skinflinty about that. That's just that should be the going rate, Steve. I'm surprised I haven't seen you in there, to be honest. But the thing is,
Where is it?
now, just near Camden.
What is it? Is it like old people?
A lot of old people, mainly old people. And this is what I'm saying. These are people who are old and they sat in a cafe, but they don't get any respect. People walking past and they don't want to go in. The way you reacted when I said I was in the Salvation Army, that's the reaction they get. Yet an old Italian person, they looked after better.
Well, it's certainly true they look after their older families, don't they?
Right,
They do
and that's
respect
all I'm
their families.
saying. Whereas, I mean, it's a lovely place, Salvation Army. Every old fella in there's got a tie on.
Yeah.
They make an effort.
That chokes me when I see an old boy still put a shirt and tie on. He's 90. He's like been through the hardship, and yet on a Sunday they're still shining their shoes, and you know what I mean.
I mean, you sometimes can't even bother to put your trousers on.
I know. Well, I've got an elasticated waistband, and they're still fiddling with braces and buttons.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I like about Italians and that. There's a lot of.
So you want to
respect.
be Italian because when you're old, you can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than you do here.
Yeah, look at the old people in this country. They never look happy, do they? Really. Most of the time, when you see them walking around, they go to pot. No one's keeping an eye on them.
Well, it's an important thing, isn't it? That my mum, this is when she was about 60, 65. There was a neighbour who was like 85, 90, and again completely alone. And my mum used to go on there every day. Do you want any shopping? Do it, right? She was good for her. She was like her witness in the world, you know, to her existence. But I remember calling her once, and she's going back. I said, "What have you been doing?" She went, "Oh, I've been around so and so." So I went, "All right." She went, "Oh, she won't die, Rick." Like she's helping her, but she's thinking this is getting silly now. You were meant to go years ago here. I was like,
Well, that's the problem, you know. If you get pally with an old person, then you could be stuck with them for years.
and having to do stuff, you know, that's what you don't want to do, is it? You meet an old fella, and then you've got to start popping in his sort of piles or whatever when he can't do them himself. You know, what do you do if you're?
It depends how friendly you are, though. I mean, I'm just talking about someone you meet at the bus stop, as opposed to popping the piles back in. How does that happen? Jesus. Just the ones on the estate I grew up on. As soon as he got to a certain age, there was Mrs. Knowles who went mental. One day she seemed fine, next day she was chucking cans in everyone's garden. You could just hear her coming. Which was weird. Aren't you? Now you brought up weird people. There was a fella called Shorts Man. Right?
It's so pedestrian! Oh, I love that!
Shorts man wore some shorts?
Now what I like, yeah, he did, but they were really short. They were that sort where, you know, it's almost pointless having them on.
What do you mean?
They were just, you know, like shorts now for blokes, they go up to your knees, don't they? There's no chance, there's no accident happening there. There's nothing going to pop out.
Yeah.
No.
But Shorts Man, he liked it. He liked the fact that happened. Right. And he used to walk with big strides to sort of help the chance along. So that he knew, with the big strides and the short shorts,
yeah,
they were going to pop out.
Did you ever see it pop out?
Yeah.
Why were you looking at the shorts?
Just because it was like playing Buckaroo. It was like, when are they going to pop out?
But
It's just what happened.
So, right, but Shorts Man, so he was an exhibitionist, he basically wanted people to see his veg.
Yeah, and they were out more than they were in. I mean, they had a tan. Right? Now the thing is, what we like in England, I think we like that. We like local characters.
The eccentric.
Yeah. Eccentric's that's very British, eccentric, yeah.
I'm glad I grew up down there with all them people, because they're interesting.
Well, there is a certain mindset about the great English, certainly the older English people. I mean, my grandparents are, my grandfather died recently, but they're amazing, kind of eccentric, very English, seemingly no friends, from what I can identify. I don't know if this is unique to them or true of a lot of English people, older people, terrified of what the neighbours might say. Always did that thing of speaking like that in case Jack said next door.
Yeah.
Like the neighbours are constantly listening in. They've got glasses against the wall, they're constantly listening into what my gran's got to say. They had about 3 teeth between them. It was extraordinary. My grandfather had a plate of false teeth during the war that had a wooden pallet. A wooden upper pallet with teeth on it. And those teeth slowly fell off during the course of the years. Never got replaced. So they'd sort of invite you to Sunday roast, and they would wake up at 6 in the morning to put the beef on, and they wouldn't have it till 6 in the evening. They would cook it. The biggest compliment you could have if you made some food for my gran, if it was some beef, would be, "Oh, you're so lovely, this, so tender, you can suck it away." If you could suck your Sunday roast through a straw, she was happy.
Well, yes, you didn't have any teeth.
Right, exactly. Basically, they got to about the age of 60 or something, and it was as though they were just waiting to die. It was strange. They lived for my grandfather lived for at least another 25 years. So you must have been gutted. But when my father needed a winter coat, a big heavy winter coat, and he was thinking of buying one, and my gran said, "Oh, don't worry about that, Ron. You can have your father's winter coat." And he said, "Well, but he's still alive. What do you talk? He needs it winter coat." She went, "No, he'll be dead soon. Just don't. Silly to waste it. Seems to waste it. Just wait." My father must have been waiting 10 years for that winter coat.
I love the fact he waited. You can see where Steve got it from.
Of course he waited. Stupid. I'm waiting now.
Steve, you must be freezing.
I am cold, but I'll take a lovely coat.
In English society, traditionally and now, is manners. I mean, obviously manners change, but what is etiquette? What is good manners? I think that a lot of that has been lost.
Well, I was thinking the other day, have you ever heard of the finishing school?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know that?
No.
The idea is that, the sort of gentrified ladies, after they finished their education, they would go to finishing school, where they would literally be taught, how to...
knives and forks, walking with a book on your head, just things like that, what to say.
I mean, that's...
it's like a year of being Eliza Doolittle, isn't it? Don't put your elbows on the table. You start from outwards, going inwards with cutlery. You eat soup, the spoon goes away. There's things like the fork. You're never meant to face those prongs up. So you either stab your peas, or
There's ways of eating soup, and scooping it up and bring it back to your mouth. I mean, it's crazy, but the people that subscribe to that stuff would look at the way you live your life, the way you eat your food, Carl, and would be appalled.
Yeah, but
in the same way we think that's absurd, they would think you're a disgrace.
But as long as you're enjoying it.
No, they would say no.
Well, no, there are certain things that I can't stand. I can't stand eating with the mouth open. I think that's rude. I banned chewing gum on the set of my film because I think it's rude. I think it's rude. Those people who stand there talking to you.
Yeah, but we all know you're a preposterous hypocrite. I mean, the way you eat food, come on.
No, I don't eat with my mouth open. I don't. I do eat with just my right hand, smash it and scoop it in. But I see nothing wrong with that.
I would say it was slightly rude when you're ordering the bill and getting up to leave when I'm still finishing my main course. Yeah. I'd say there was a touch of rudeness.
But I go into a restaurant to eat.
Yeah, but you're supposed to wait when you're with the other people and let them finish as well.
This is my ideal restaurant. It is empty. They know what I want and it's waiting for me when I walk in. I leave still chewing and I go put it on the bill. That's the ideal restaurant for me.
Yeah. You're pretty much there.
Yeah, I try and that's what I try and do, yeah. But you know, there are certain things. I am one for manners. I think I hate rudeness, I hate lateness, I hate all those things, but some of them are ridiculous. The elbows on the table is arbitrary. Why? I mean, there's a reason you say please and thank you, because it shows courtesy. Those make sense. There's a reason you don't talk when you're eating, because it goes over and it's disgusting. There's a reason you don't lick your fingers and then put it back in the chips, because it's someone else has got to share that. But don't put your elbows on the table or start with that fork. I think it's ludicrous.
You know, there's those rules when you meet a member of the royal family. For instance, if you were at the Royal Variety Performance and you met the Queen, there's various rules they tell you about.
You don't fart or call her love.
Exactly, for one. But also, you don't speak until you're spoken to. You have to do a slight bow.
I was invited to the palace a couple of times. The first time was after the office sort of broke, and I got an invite. Company of Her Majesty the Queen would like you to come to one of those dinner parties, and I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you get one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, wait. I was a big shot quicker than you because I was in it. Don't forget, you didn't appear until series 2.
If we'd split the atom, they would invite both of us. Not just a guy who does the press conference.
So the thing came through, and I thought, I was worried about it, to be honest. But it just said, I will be attending, I will not be attending. Tick the box. And I couldn't bear to just tick, I will not be attending, because it was too harsh. So there was a RSPV number, and I phoned up, and it was obviously the head of the house, or a butler, or I don't know, someone, and he went, hello, Buckingham Palace. And I said, hello, it's Ricky Gervais, I just got an invite to come and I said, it sounds weird, but I couldn't bear to just tick, I will not be attending. He went, well, you're the first person ever to bother to do that. Thank you so much. I went, my pleasure, sorry I can't make it. But don't you think that's weird?
It is strangely brutal.
It is strangely brutal, isn't it? I wonder if they've changed it by now.
Yeah, there's a little asterisk. Thanks to Ricky Gervais, it now says, I am too fat and lazy and busy eating cheese to visit your majesty.
What I think is this, that no one's ever ticked, I will not be attending.
Right, yeah.
So it was never a problem.
So why did you not want to go?
I don't know, I just thought it was a bit intense, and I turned down all those things. I think I would like to go now, just to look around.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just felt a bit funny, just being invited there. I was invited to all those things at Downing Street as well, and I just thought, you're inviting me because I'm on the telly now, because I'm famous. Well, where was my invite when I was on the dole?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
With respect, I wouldn't have invited you circa 1983.
No, I haven't got a problem with, going to the palace or, except I do have a problem with sort of being wheeled around as a celebrity.
Because I used to think if I was ever invited to get given an MBE or a knighthood or something, I'd be like, nah, I'm not part of the system, I'm a rebel, I'm outside. Now I think it would be quite cool.
Well, I only think it's a problem for a comedian, because we're sort of meant to dish it out, and it's difficult to dish it out if you're being seen.
What I do find weird is the idea of having to bow and scrape before people because I'm told to do that. Well, what I find is that idea of I'm obligated to be respectful to such a degree just because someone's the Queen. Like, obviously I'd always be respectful, but why can't I speak when she turns up? What I don't understand. That's how I find a strange idea.
What would you say though?
Well, I just say, honoured to meet you, Majesty. But I don't understand why I can't initiate that. Why? I
don't think she'd mind that. If you went, honoured to meet you before she'd spoken, what she's going to say? She's going to go, cheeky cunt. I talks first, lanky. Carl, what do you think about all the pomp and circumstance around?
It's all alien. It's not for me. I don't like that sort of. I try and not put myself in the same sort of circles as posh people, because it's just it's like a different club, isn't it? It's like I said to you about young people and old people. There's such a different life going on. They say like the whale and the hippo are related. You never see them together, and it's the same with really posh, well-off people, and someone who's just getting on with their life.
But I mean, that's the thing that's changed as well. The stiff upper lip thing, that's out of the window now. I mean, it's like everyone's got a new addiction. Everyone's, I'm addicted to drugs, alcohol. I'm addicted to sex. Not a problem. Have a wank. And everyone's got depression now.
Can you be addicted to sex if you're not getting any? Because if that's the case, then. Oh dear. Do you think there's a big difference, Carl, between the Englishman of yesteryear who didn't complain? I mean, he just got on with things. He might have whinged about the weather and the like, but he just got on with things.
He carried an umbrella.
Yeah. Whereas nowadays, people are getting their Prozac and their antidepressant pills, they're going into therapy.
Yeah. He kept out of stuff as well. Just there was a war and so and so. All right. They're coming this way. If they come over here, give them a slap. Why are we getting involved now in everything? Thoughts on that, Carl?
It's news now, innit? Sometimes I think, don't tell me, don't want to know. Just get on with it. Whoever's job that is, get on with it.
Yeah.
Why am I being told about it? When I've got a problem in my job, no one else knows. No one helps me out and goes, well, I've got an opinion for him.
No.
This might help him. No one helps me. But I'm being bombarded by everyone else's hassle. They love talking, actually. That's what the English do. Talking, but they never finalise it. They love just being in the meeting room, talking, saying, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. I'm the only one in that room not getting paid. Everyone else is on a wage. I'm there looking at my watch thinking, right, I've been here for an hour and nothing's been sorted. They're looking, thinking we can drag this out for another half hour, get us to lunch. That's what annoys me. They're all sat there just pushing bullshit around the room like dung beetles. I'm sick of it. And that's what the English do. And it's a shame, because I don't think they used to be like that. I wish everybody just sort of kept to themselves more. Like, certain animals do. You just get on with it. It's like an old-fashioned way.
What animals keep themselves?
Any animals keep themselves to themselves.
Like what?
I've said loads of things.
What animals keep themselves?
Badgers.
Why do they keep themselves?
They just whenever you've seen them and just sort of wandering about a roadside, they're on their own. Right. They're not sort of.
What are they doing?
In pairs. I don't know. Most of the time they're dead. I've seen more dead badgers than alive ones. I've never seen a live badger.
I don't know what his point is.
So that's why they're one alone and two getting on with it. That's it. Most of the time.
It started off as some kind of poetic analogy. I don't know what that was.
I just.
Oh God. I like this thing of the Englishman I knew growing up. Was you had to, when you hit a certain age, when you hit like manhood or puberty or whatever, 13, 14, 15, you had to start showing your mettle. Then the most important thing then was to the worst thing to be growing up was gay. That was like, you couldn't be gay. It couldn't be gay, anything but gay. And then you had to be hard, you had to be tough. I remember, like, when I first started going to pubs, right, so I don't know, say 18, you walk into a toilet, the urinals, and the first thing everyone did was fart and gob.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yeah,
if you couldn't do that, then, you get funny looks. You go in the urinal and they'd look at you, oh, sorry. It was all about being a man,
I think wearing glasses makes you slightly exempt from that. It's like you don't have to. People automatically dissociate. It's like if I was in prison, I wouldn't have to do that because I'd just be the professor. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
or friends.
yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't need to be part. I'm never a threat because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere where I haven't got a piss and gob.
Yeah.
Has that got more popular?
Yes.
Has it?
Yeah.
We're doing it in the streets now.
Really?
It's not
in Hampstead.
It still is, when I walk
the only person gobbing in Hampstead is me. Jane says, don't gob, people are looking.
Well, it's your trail that I'm seeing then. It's like a load of sort of washed up jellyfish in London. Just big blobs of it. I mean, I don't know how they're coughing this stuff up. I mean, they shouldn't still be alive. Some of them have like organs in them. It's just big lumps of stuff.
I mean, that list of idyllic, antiquated England of tea and cakes and cricket, I mean, is valid. But I think the things that sum up Englishness, I mean, talking of the weather, I think drinking, war. We love a ruck.
Yeah.
We're built on war. We're a warrior race.
We're pretty good at war. We
are good.
We used to be good. I don't
yeah,
know
no, we're very good. We're good. We're very good. I mean, I think we reached our peak with Churchill.
That's probably our greatest hour, our finest hour.
According to him.
Yeah. Well, he should know he was there.
He should know. And he liked to drink, didn't he? He loved a brandy.
He's just not afraid of a drink.
He'd get pissed up, and no wonder he'd fight him on the beaches. He'd fight him anywhere.
Yeah.
See, there's an example of a posh bloke. It was like I was saying. He'd lead you into battle. He'd have a weapon too. He'd go in there. He didn't sit back. I mean, when he was old, he did. But nothing wrong with being posh if you're willing to go and get stuck in. What do you think, Carl?
Is it as scary though? I mean, imagine if he was rougher sounding, and he was on the front line. And,
like he went. You fucking little cunt! I'll fight you on the beach. See me down in Brighton Monday. I'm gonna fucking smack your head in, you little fucking German cunt. Like that, you mean?
Yeah.
It's less of a morale boost.
Well, that's the other point of one, isn't it? That those speeches were for as much as morale as information and defiance.
You don't want to feel like the leader of your country could glass you if you got on the wrong side.
No, exactly. It's got to be. It's got to be rules under war, hasn't it? I mean, that fair play has got to come into it as well. Talking of the English sense of fair play and war, when the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. They said it was unchristian, so our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick, and versus our bowmen. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage? That's honour, isn't it? It's almost like it's okay to kill someone, but with skill.
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows. Yeah. They're amazing. They're heavy. They're your arms. They've got trained bow, sort of marksman soldiers in the country. Someone comes along, goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. Oh, William Tellon he's shooting apples off heads.
Yeah.
Right? But we resisted it because we thought it was, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was like sold as this, light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
Ye new bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem is?
But you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The objective is to kill the enemy.
I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all uppity about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But
it's just about
rules,
winning.
Isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
So what about things like the Geneva Convention? It's the understanding that even if we're entering into a war, theoretically, there's a set of agreed universal
rules. It's good for both sides,
rules.
Isn't it? Fair play has got to come into everything.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy. I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
Well, I know we were fodder. It was fodder to use up some of their bullets. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it's madness. But in a way, it's the gentry who are leading us, seeing the average Tommy as a sort of cannon fodder.
Of course. And we've got to realise that most of the people didn't want to be there. Most of them didn't even understand it. I mean, and if you think of the first and second, they were just wars, But I can't imagine what it'd be like.
Do you think, Carl, in a war situation? You've seen all those films of the.
I mean, that's the one they had a knockabout and stuff, didn't they? They took the game of football.
In no man's land, yeah. Christmas Day.
What? Who took a football there? If I was on the front line, I would not be getting out the rule book. I can tell you that much. I'd be going mental.
Are you saying there should be some rules or no rules?
I mean, you've got to have some rules, otherwise it's just going to be like Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? I'm just going to go about battering everyone.
Yeah.
And you soon get bored of that. So I think you've got to have some rules.
Right.
Which rules would you repeal that already exist that you don't like?
It's a shame you can't tip as much as you used to be able to.
You mean in a restaurant?
No, just when you're getting rid of a mattress or something.
So fly tipping, you'd like to see more fly tipping.
What do you mean? This is something so personal, he's fed up, he had to take something.
No, it's just that they used to put stuff outside the house, and just like you had mattresses, you had sideboards, sewing machines. The thing is, it was a good way of recycling. Now they say recycle, but we're not recycling, it's just being put in a bin.
So you'd like to see more fly tipping?
No, not, you see...
That's all we need in London, more rubbish.
This is the problem, you see. Look what's happened. Look what's happened to what I've said. It's been taken the wrong way.
Right.
I'm not saying tip. I'm not saying chuck your bin bags out the door and let crisp packets go everywhere. I'm saying if you've got old furniture, you should be allowed to leave it outside your house without the council going, move that, it's dangerous, someone's going to trip over it. Well, if they trip over it, you should have been looking where they're going.
Well, what if they're blind?
Huh?
What if they're blind? That's why you don't leave things out in the pavement, because blind people will fall over them and smack their face in.
What if a woman with a couple of kids in pushchairs has to go out into the road to get past your piece of junk?
And get crushed?
No, because I'm leaving it. I'm not leaving it on the pavement.
What you said you were? Where are you leaving it?
Sort of outside the house.
Right.
In your front garden. Who's going to take it from there? That's just thieving.
No, sort of.
Where are you leaving it? Where are you leaving it, Carl? You haven't established where you're leaving this yet. Because so far, a blind person's fallen over and broken his nose.
I've never seen a blind person trip over anything.
You've never seen a blind person trip over anything?
Definitely not. They're better on the feet than some people because they're more cautious, aren't they?
So
make it more fun for them, if anything.
Why can't you just have this stuff collected by a second-hand shop or
because they don't come, Steve. Honestly, they don't. I've called up people and they're saying, yeah, we'll be there in an hour, and I say, right, I'm going to put it out on the street, and are you going to come and get it? Yeah, we'll be there. An hour passes by, they haven't been. Suddenly the council goes past
on the floor, bloodied noses.
Then the council said, I call them up, do you want to shift it? Well, we might, but don't know when. Well, it's outside the house now. Well, you can't leave it there, it's your responsibility, you'll have to stay with it. Suddenly I'm wasting time sat outside the house with rubbish that someone else might want, but you're not allowed to leave there because a blind person might come along. What's the dog doing?
What do you make of St. George, the patron saint? What's your take on that?
Is he the one who killed a dragon?
Right. Tell us the story.
There was a dragon problem. Must have been in England.
Right.
George took it on. He took on the job. He was like a rent-a-kill. He came out. The interesting thing with him is, right, he was a hero then. I honestly think if he did that now, there'd be an uproar. Because it's the last dragon. It's the same way we try to save the panda and all that now. If he came out and said, I've done it, and they've done what? They've just killed the last dragon, they'd go mental. There'd be marches. Idiot, bloody idiot. And that's what's interesting.
But it was going around burning people.
Doesn't matter, we shouldn't have killed the last one. It's the last one. And that's what it would be like. So you should have saved it, you should have captured it and put it in a cage so we can all look at it.
There's no point, it couldn't have bred anyway, it was the last one.
Was it definitely the last one?
Well, you were saying it was the last one, I'm not bothered either way.
So you think that there were dragons?
Well, what are we celebrating then?
Well, it could be a metaphor, a dragon slayer. It could be a bad thing amongst us. It could be a foreign threat. It could be things that threaten. It could be anything. It's not to be taken literally, is it?
The real legend of George was that he was a figure who stood up for Christianity. Have you ever done anything brave?
There was a kid at school who used to have epileptic fits a lot, and the teacher used to always say, if it happens, grab his tongue. And I sort of had a go at that once. His tongue.
His tongue?
Yeah.
What do you have a tongue for? To pick stuff up? What do you mean a tongue?
His tongue in his mouth.
Oh, his tongue.
Oh, his tongue. Right, go on.
And they used to say, if he starts doing it, grab his tongue and that. And I sort of had a go at that once, and it wasn't nice.
Well, how'd you grab it? Would you grab his tongue, did you?
Well, I tried to. It's like grabbing a slug. And plus his mouth's going up and down, like you think he's going to have me handy. So you sort of do that thing where you go...
So you were trying to grab hold of a kid's tongue, yeah? And he was
throwing himself all over the place. It was in a physics lesson. I sort of had a go, and then I thought, this isn't happening. So I just sort of kept putting my hand in, like I'm having a go. But in my head, I was going, I'm not going to get hold of it.
What you could have used is a pair of tongs.
Well, firstly, I don't see why this is brave. Kids having an epileptic fit and you're just supposed to help them out. I don't know why that's bravery, but even given that, the fact that you were thinking more about yourself in that situation than this other kid. You were thinking, I'll make it look like I'm helping, but I'm not really. And yet this is kid having an epileptic fit.
I did at the beginning.
Doesn't that sum you up, Carl? Selfish.
No, it doesn't. Because no one else was having a go. At least I did try and grab it at one point.
You weren't doing anything. You were just making it look like you were.
Have you ever tried to grab a tongue? It's like chasing a chicken. It's murder. And after a while, it wears you out. And it was weird anyway, because it was like...
What was he doing it for?
I don't know.
Why don't know? After hours of chasing this kid's tongue.
I love the idea. Have you ever tried grabbing a tongue? It's a valid question.
I love that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that this kid's
what was your technique? Were you trying to grab it
just with your thumb and your finger, like a pincher thing?
Yeah.
But it was because his mouth's going down and.
Was he shouting or just?
No, just throwing himself around.
So that's your one attempt at bravery.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just think.
Trying to grab a tongue.
There was a time you were chased by a bee and you scored a goal.
What about that?
That isn't really brave, is it? As you were running away from a bee, and the ball happened to hit your foot and go in. Does that count as bravery? I love it when he goes up to the pearly gates and goes, "Well, have you done the act of courage?" I pretended to grab a tongue. A what? A tongue. Yeah. Got chased by a bee, scored a goal. It doesn't count as brave at all.
Well, what have you ever done?
Well, that's a good question.
I thought of something then. When I was a kid on the beach, there was a baby, like a toddler. I was about 12, and they were out. Their little boat was going out. The mother missed it, and they were miles out. And the mother was sort of distraught. And I swam out, and I was a good swimmer then. And I pulled it in, right? And she bought me a box of chocolates.
It's not enough, is it?
What?
It's not enough, a box of chocolates. I'd have been furious.
Really?
I'd have wanted a lot more.
I didn't expect anything.
No, it was like when I found that old lady's purse and I sent it back to her, and she sent me a little thank you note, but nothing. No cash, nothing. I was furious. I thought, come on, I could have kept that purse. I sent it back to you. I need more than a little thank you note.
I didn't expect anything. I was sort of I wasn't even particularly proud of myself, because I just thought, well, I could just do it. I mean, if it happened now, I'd go, what's in it for me? I've just eaten.
Exactly.
I'd go, is that your kid? They're miles away. Yeah. I've got less brave. I've got more scared of the world, yeah. The things I used to do, jump off sheds, I used to jump down flights of stairs to see if I could do it, walk along, all those things that kids do. And you lose your nerve, I think, after. Apparently, if you haven't bungee jumped by your 30, you never will.
Really?
Yeah, you sort of... I think it's a sensible gene kicks in.
I'm pretty sensible.
Yeah, you think, well, this is not worth dying for. Don't do it, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think having glasses prevents me from doing a lot of things. No, seriously, because it's hard to be brave with glasses. Because if I stepped into the middle of a fight and there's people being bullied and I stepped in, my glasses come off, that's it. Now I'm just being bullied as well. But I'm also blind in this, so I'm just crawling. It's very hard to strike fear into your opponents when you're crawling around on the floor looking for your frames, going, don't tread lightly. That's 200 quid there.
Oh God, I love that when you took up judo and you think you overheard the judo instructor say, just knock his glasses off.
Just knock his glasses off.
But who are you, Woody Allen? What are you doing in this scenario? Why are you stepping into the dojo wearing a pair of glasses?
Well, how am I supposed to do judo without, where am I supposed to?
Well, they come off immediately.
But what am I supposed to do? Not do any form of martial art because of the glasses?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't thought about that.
Exactly. This is the problem, isn't it? People don't think that. You never see boxers with glasses.
Well, of course you don't.
Right, exactly. So I got no kind of athletic role models in that way, except Dennis Taylor.
Oh God! A man with glasses, me and my glasses.
It's to tell you this, I could write a book on the difficulties of having glasses.
But I suppose it's completely affected your life, hasn't it? Everything you do.
Of course it has. Absolutely. Fashion. Yeah. Sort of sport, dancing, moshing. Can't go in the mosh pit. I've always wanted to jump on the stage, take my shirt off and then jump back in, and everyone catches you, and you sort of sway along on top of everyone's hands. Can't do it. The glasses would come flying off.
But how do you swim in the sea?
I'd have to hand them to the singer and then do it. I went to I was in India recently. I went to Goa and I got myself a pair of prescription goggles. Could not believe my luck. It's revolutionised my swimming experience. I can see all right.
That's good.
Went in there. Literally, and they're pricey as well. Went in the water, within seconds, giant wave had come over, and it was crazy. It was like Rio all over again. It ripped off both my trunks and my goggles. They went flying off my head. What? Now, I can only grab one of them.
My trunks have never come off. Maybe once I've dived in, they come down a little bit.
They came loose, and they slipped down, thus revealing penis. Goggles came off.
I reckon you're like shorts man. I think you've been doing it on purpose.
You know how most swimmers...
Tie your shorts up, Steve. No, I'm just going to see. What if they come off? If they come off, then you might see something.
You know how most swimming goggles would float? Yeah. My prescription is so dense that they just sunk straight to the bottom.
If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. And think this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind no less, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace, under an English heaven. Rupert Brooke, The Soldier. What an amazing poem that is.
Yeah. It's a shame you read it though.
Thanks for listening to the Ricky Gervais Guide to the English. That's it for a little while. 5 in that series of guides too.
Plenty to be going on with.
There's also the rest of the back catalogue as well, and we might do the odd free one, but we'll be back soon anyway with maybe another series of guides too. Who knows, Carl? Thoughts? I've enjoyed this, have you?
Yeah, my favourite ones. I like learning stuff, you know that. If I can learn something and make a few quid, I'm happy.
Unlike the people who are listening to this who are down £2 and have learned absolutely nothing, and what they have learned from you is total bollocks. So thanks, that's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
goodbye,
and Carl Pilkington.
Right.
St. Francis of Assisi once said, "Where there is charity and wisdom, there is neither fear nor ignorance." Acts of human charity have been documented since the beginning of recorded history, yet even now in the most democratic and economically advanced nations, charity is still necessary. Does this mean that charitable acts are failing to effect meaningful change? Should charity even be the responsibility of individual citizens, or is it the obligation of government? Do handouts make people lazy and dependent instead of resourceful and responsible for their own livelihoods? Is it every man for himself, or are we all in this together? To discuss these questions and more, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, award-winning writer and graduate of the University of Warwick.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington. Gonk.
What?
So, Red Nose Day, Comic Relief, has come round again.
Yeah, Red Nose Day is obviously the very specific date in the calendar for the whole, I think.
It's normally when the telecast happens.
Yeah.
People know that that's the day when they can dress up, do charitable acts. But of course, Comic Relief is a charity that's working all the time for disenfranchised all over the world.
And you can go to the website all year round, which is comicrelief.com.
I think there's also rednoseday.com, which is if you particularly want to donate for this year's appeal. Have you always been a strong champion of Comic Relief, Carl?
Not really.
Why was I expecting that answer?
Well, but I mean, we're doing a bit of charity now. We're donating our time. It's not much. It's not costing anything.
But I do loads of stuff without going on about it. I don't think you should shout about the bits you do for charity, because then who are you doing it for?
Oh, exactly. I mean, well, this is my thing, isn't it? That there's a lot of people that only do it if it's in the public eye. It's to do it really to be a busybody or to show off or to feel good about themselves. And I suppose that's good and bad. I mean, if it gets you involved, if it does some good. My gift to the world has been you, Carl, to be quite honest. I feel that you're the world's now.
I'm sure there's people in Africa going, we prefer blankets.
Yeah.
Doing a wills charity, innit?
Is it?
Sort of.
I mean,
No,
if you make a donation to a charity within the will, I suppose that's quite charitable. But
Do you
just
mean-
giving money to your relatives isn't, is it?
Of course it is.
Well,
They
it
shouldn't
is.
have it.
They're
They
getting
shouldn't-
something for nothing, but it's... I mean, I don't know. It's giving something away that you have no use for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
mean,
but forget that. It's someone is getting something when
Yeah.
they've done nothing for it, really.
Well, it is. I suppose it is charity, but charity is usually infused with some sort of altruism. It's usually to do with giving a piece of something that is kindly because you could do with it. I mean, not strictly. I think you can give away something you don't need, but it's hardly donating a kidney, is it, or some of your wages? It's like it's not charity on your part because you're literally not around anymore. So it's no longer you giving it. It's just some
Yeah, but
money
I could
that
either
was.
give it them or not give it them. Once I'm dead and I've turned to mush, I shouldn't be worrying about Suzanne's mum getting a table.
Is that what
you
you're
know-
leaving her?
Well, I called up my dad first.
Why are you
and said-
doing a will for the show?
Because of this travel thing that
Right,
I'm
yeah.
doing, and it can get dangerous, you know.
But why haven't you done a will up to now?
Because you sort of, I don't know, I felt sort of young and free. Whereas now I'm...
That's never 2 words I've associated with Carl. He's always seemed like a man who's in his late 50s.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
I've certainly
yeah.
never the idea that you're free.
It's more-
Even if we're just talking about the head alone, it's the head of a late 50-year-old.
Free of hair.
Yeah, totally free of fucking hair.
I'm sort of getting on first name terms with my doctor.
Oh, really?
Chatting more. Oh, what is it this time?
How's your middle finger?
You
Not
know.
too bad, Carl.
All that sort of thing. So it's just made me think.
Have you had that done for the will, by the way, for insurance
I think
and
you
stuff?
need to, don't you, for a will?
I think you do.
There's nothing on the
prostate
paper.
exam.
No.
No, listen, for insurance purposes, I think you need to have a testicular exam for testicular cancer. You're just leaving the high risk for testicular cancer, actually, and you're entering the high risk for prostate cancer.
And you can have both at the same time.
You could have both
the
at the same
examination
time,
at the same time.
if he's a very dexterous doctor.
I wouldn't want that.
Why? Too much like...
It's just too
Too
much
playful.
going on. It's like someone juggling you.
Yeah, it's like being examined by Squiddly Diddly.
And so you said you called up your dad.
Called him up. I said, "Is there anything you want if I die?"
Right. And presumably, you know, Suzanne, she's getting the lion's share.
She is. But then the fellow who was on the end of the phone talking us through it all was going, "Oh, you should get married." I was going, "Oh, shut up." He's saying, "Well, it make things a lot easier when it comes to this." And it's like, well, that isn't a reason to get married, is it?
Well,
So she can have all my stuff. I said, "I've wrote on the bit of paper that she can have it. I'm not bothered. I'll be
What
dead."
did you wrote? What did you wrote?
You know, all that whatever we've got, she can have.
Yeah, great. That's fine. That's as good as a
Yeah.
marriage then, isn't
But
it?
it's something about tax. If you're not married, you have to hand over more.
Well, she'll get... yeah, I suppose if it's money, she'll pay tax on it.
Yeah. I think you get so much, and then it's like ridiculous tax rate.
yeah.
But she's going, "That's why we should get married. I'm going to be paying tax." I'm going, hang on a minute. She's already like thinking about money loss instead of me disappearing.
Yeah.
She's going, "Yeah, we should." I'm saying, "Look, you'll be getting a load of money." I said, "If I die on this programme anyway, I'm insured. You'll
Yeah.
be getting about £1 million for that."
Yeah.
I said, "So that's something you haven't got now.
Yeah.
Got nowhere near that now." I said, "So even if you have to pay tax on that,
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be right to get married just in case I get killed."
Well, you are married, aren't you?
Well,
This
then
is
you may
good
as well
as.
get the paperwork.
No, because then everyone wants a party. Everyone's
have to have a party, you can go straight down to the registry office.
honestly, people start going, "Oh, you should do this," and "Oh, it's not a proper wedding unless you do that."
Have your two sets of parents met?
No.
That'd be good, would it?
Well, I suppose it's a reason to, isn't it? At least if you're getting married, there's a reason for them to meet. At the moment, there's no reason for them to meet. They'd get on each other's nerves. My dad wouldn't get on with a man.
Right.
Just wouldn't. She doesn't like me, so she won't like me dad. Because he's just an exaggerated version. So, I think It doesn't need to happen.
But you could just nip down the registry office, get it done and dusted, and you just phone up your folks and say, it's already happened,
I
it's too
said
late.
that. I said, listen, if we had to do it, I said if it was like we'd got to do it for some reason, I said I'd do that. We can have it done by 2. You can be back in work for 3. Because at the end of the day, there's no, you know, we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
We're not going to suddenly turn into some sort of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan film just because we've got married.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except she'd want a joint bank account or something. That's the only other thing that would probably change, and I don't like the idea of that.
Why?
Just, I like to know what's going on. There's enough people sticking their hand in my account, charity-wise and all that, without an extra hand going in.
Who happens to be the love of your life?
I'm not moaning about it, I'm just saying it works the way it is. You hear about people getting married, and it doesn't last. Adds extra pressure.
What pressure's it going to add? It's not going to add any pressure.
I suppose that you resent the fact that the only reason you would be getting married is because she gets your money after your death tax-free.
What if you gave her a series of challenges so that she sort of earned the right to have that money?
It just keeps her on her toes. Because whilst we're not married, it's easy to go, I'm sick of this. So it keeps her
on her toes.
Yeah. It keeps us both sort of
because
doing
you're
stuff.
such a find. She's got to work hard to keep you, hasn't she?
You never do anything in order to sort of maintain this relationship, as far as I can tell. I'm not saying you're a bad wife, but in terms of romantic Meg Ryan type stuff, you never do anything.
Me and Jane were out with them and Suzanne the other night, right, at dinner, and honestly, he is so grumpy. He was saying about for Christmas, right? He said, you've had a flaw. You've had a flaw. Now, what did that mean?
We had a new floor put in.
But how is that her floor?
Because she wanted it.
But you walk on it too.
I paid for it. I don't understand what you mean.
But don't you understand that, like, you know, a romantic break or clothes or perfumes, you know, sort of things that are kind of indulgent for a lady. That's a gift, not a new floor.
That is like something you give to some little African fella on Comic Relief. In fact, I think I saw it once. He didn't have a floor.
Exactly.
They built him a floor. I remember watching it with you, and they gave him a new pair of shoes and the floor. He went, hold on, floor or shoes, not both. Oh, when that tsunami hit, and it was like a month after Christmas, they showed that Britain had given £2 billion, right? He was going, that's enough. He said, before they were living in mud huts, now there's an Arndale Centre. So you think charity is all right as long as people don't get above their station with charity?
I think it should be there as a little booster. Something's happened that they didn't expect. They're all a bit in shock. I don't think they'll feel bad, because all they ever seem to do, these countries that are struggling, they never give anything back.
Right.
They've always got their hand out.
Right.
And it's been like that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, people knocking on the door, my mum going, don't look at the door, there's someone there. And we'd just pretend they weren't
Charity
there.
starts at home, not at your home.
No, but because it's all the time. I mean, my mum didn't like answering the door anyway. Even if it was the pools man, she'd sort of say, don't move, and he might not see that we're here.
So you just froze where a man was at the door.
Well, you just, because the front room was near the door, so people could see in.
Right.
So you just sort of stayed there and pretend that either you
so
can't
like
hear
some sort of predator, like they can't see if you don't move.
Well, even if he was peering in through the window and he could see you in there not moving.
So he looked through and there was 3 people just frozen, right, like statues, right, just their eyes looking at him, and then confused.
Well, they're clearly dead, I'll move on. There's obviously been a gas leak.
And did you say sitting or stand up, or did you sort of like throw yourself to the floor?
We just sat on the, you know, where you were, and you just stayed still.
But did he ever look in and see?
I don't know, because you didn't turn around, did you?
So you would pretend you couldn't hear the door?
It's easy. Honestly, the amount of times people would come round, it's either... It seemed to be the 80s, had a lot of it, because it was all the Avon thing, wasn't it? It was perfume, Tupperware.
What?
Tupperware. Yeah, the plastic boxes.
It's dishes for fat people. Here we go. Oh, these are big. God, they are. They're for fat fuckers like you to eat out yourself.
There was the pools man.
Right.
Just a lot of charity stuff. Just a lot. It seemed to be the time, the 80s, that they suddenly found out they can sort of scav money off people.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of scavving.
So that's why we used to ignore the door.
I just love this image of you.
Yeah.
You're in the lounge.
Yeah.
You're having a little boogie. It's Christmas. Someone's tapping on the glass. Freeze. They just go, well, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Nothing here for us.
Hammer time. Silence. There's a. Okay, right. Let's do the scenario. I'm at the door. I can see you in there. You might as well come open the door. Carl, why are you staying so still? Are you trying to avoid me?
It's working.
Carl, your eyes are moving. Can you come to the door, please?
I suppose in the end you've got to move
Carl, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here until you have to move. Carl. This is the most pointless podcast we've ever done. Me shouting your name and you pretending not to be here. Okay, and I'll move on then. Right.
It works.
Yeah,
Works perfectly.
Because once they've got you, that's the whole thing with charity. Once they've stopped you in the street, if you've stopped, that's it.
Keeps on going.
You're handing something over.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times I've been stopped. I mean, the good thing now is you've got an iPod, so you can just either pretend you're on the phone or listen to music.
Or just stay very still. Just freeze when someone says, "Can I trouble you for?" Oh, he's totally frozen.
That would be amazing, because they're normally in one spot, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's just
So
they're
as soon
carrying
as
on
they
selling,
stop you,
and
so
you've got to
you just
stay there
freeze
for the
it,
rest of it outside Waitrose
Yeah.
for 7 hours.
Yeah, it goes dark. Well, I've finished my shift, I'm off. And then you just see, your eyes just see them walk away like that, and they all meet in their little tunics. And then you start walk, they look back, and you freeze. And then they walk on. And then you can go home 7 hours late.
If you would like to donate to Comic Relief, why not visit rednoseday.com. Ever since I was young, I've always liked going in charity shops, particularly because never sort of gone in there to buy clothes and stuff, but books, whatever. And I was in a charity shop, and I've patronised them for years, and I noticed out through the window there was like a paparazzi guy, and he was taking pictures of me through the window. That was a bit weird. And obviously the old ladies in there didn't have any idea who I was, so they just thought that was a bit strange. And then it was in one of the magazines, like the kind of celebrity magazines. It was, oh, here's Steve Merchant. Despite all the money he must have made from his various projects, he's still going in charity shops. And you just think, but sorry, how is that a bad thing? I'm giving my money to a charity. Isn't that a noble cause? I mean, obviously that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it
to save 50p.
To save 50p, of course. But
they don't know
that. They don't know that.
No. You might be going there and going, keep the change, love. You never have said that.
Never said that.
Never said that in your life.
No, occasionally I'll shoplift. I'm no mug. 70p? Don't you think that seems frustrating, though? That
yeah, but what do you expect? What are they going to do? They're not going to say Steve Merchant, Heart of Gold, are they?
I just thought all these things would slowly accumulate towards the OBE.
Yeah, I know. I think you've got to do a bit more than get Roger Whittaker's greatest hits for 10p.
My mum's always in them, and because my mum goes in them, my dad sort of got into going into them now because the weather's not good or whatever, and he thinks rather than standing outside, he went in one, and he was after a jacket, just like a sort of a casual but quite smart.
Yep.
He's quite a big bloke, so it's difficult to find them, right? So he's in there, sees the jacket, goes, oh look, here's that sort of jacket that I'm after. Picks it up, tries it on. Oh, it fits. It's good, this, isn't it? She's going, yeah. While she's looking at, a toad that you put money in or whatever.
Yeah.
So he gets to the counter, and it's got a price tag on it, £8, right? So he said, "I'll give you £6." He had £6 in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you £6 for that. She went, no, it's £8. Now that's wrong, isn't it? That's a good price, and it's £6. They've got it for nothing.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have any of it. He said, surely something's better than nothing. If you don't give me this for £6, it's going back on the hanger. And they said, no, sorry.
Yeah, but they might later sell it for £8.
But they might not, and it's been given to them for free. Yeah, so what does it matter?
But the old
who's come up with the price of £8? Who is this?
Yeah,
but she's not there to haggle. someone's priced it up, and she's just a volunteer who's
maybe she thought of it that she was losing the charity £2 as opposed to gaining it £6.
But they haven't gained anything because he put it back on, and how many people want it? How many people are looking out for that jacket?
It might be the principle. She might have thought, oh, you can't haggle when it's for charity.
It was a fair price. I give a lot of stuff to charity. A lot. Most of the time, just because it's nearer than the wheelie bin is. It's just a way of getting rid of garbage most of the time with me. Stick it all in a bin bag, good stuff on the top, the stuff that you're embarrassed about, stick it in the bottom of the bag.
What are you embarrassed about?
Just old shoes, trainers.
Some of the books you've written.
Socks. Underpants.
Underpants! You do not give underpants to charity.
Washed.
But who's gonna wash? I know, as opposed to just like peeling them off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you've got a problem with underpants, but shoes. You see, I've never bought
underpants from a charity shop. Though. I mean, I don't care how low you are on the socio-economic level.
I know.
You can get about 14 pairs for £1 in some places.
I know. I don't know who's buying underpants. I don't know who's buying your underpants. I definitely don't know.
I mean, if they were signed.
Yeah. That is something I like doing though. When I've given to charity, I like going past the shop and seeing if it made it in the window.
Any success?
Yeah, recently the one not far from here had me egg cups in the window. So it's like, oh look, there's
you've got a new set of egg cups, so you've got rid of your old ones?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got any egg cups.
Haven't you?
No.
Why
I don't
not?
think so. I don't
have boiled eggs.
I can't imagine you. It would take. You'd be too impatient to boil an egg, Rick.
Well, yeah. I just. It's just those things you think of never buying. Egg cups, a whisk.
No, but you do eventually.
I suppose you got to, haven't you? Yeah. It's things that were just always there when you grow up, isn't it? That you have to go and you think of, but not second hand though.
But there's nothing wrong. Honestly, it's hardly. I mean, it's made the window space. That's how good it was. It had hardly been used, that egg cup, because it was a doubler, and I think they were quite small for the egg size that I get. I think they were made more for the small egg, and I have the large egg.
Right.
So it was never really
just
used.
like your underpants.
But
have you ever been a charity shopper, Rick?
Yeah. What I used to do a lot of was records and tapes and things like that. But it ended up sort of being ironic. It really ended up like getting, something like Shane Rich's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And things like that.
A bit of a dilemma that my Auntie Nora had. She likes charity shops as well. She's got a neighbour. Went out to Graceland's, big Elvis fan. They came back. She said, "How was Graceland's?" He said, "Oh, it was brilliant. Best holiday we've ever had. Probably go back again. We've got a gift for you." Right? They get out this clock, like a little sort of. It's like a Swiss. You know, the Swiss sort of looks like a little house, like a cuckoo clock. But on the hour, little Elvis comes out the top and goes, So she went, "Oh, cheers." She's not really into Elvis. She's more into Jim Reeves and Glenn Campbell and stuff. Yeah. But what can you say? She said, "Oh, thanks for that." She put it in, took it in the house.
Maybe they could get attachments. Maybe you get a little Jim Reeves to pop on the spring. Change it anything you like So Solid Crew. You can get a little So Solid Crew, and that pops out or whatever.
Anyway, it's in the house. She's thinking, "I'm not going to put that up. It's not her sort of thing." So thinks, give it to charity. Of course. She goes down to the charity shop, gives them that, thinks nothing of it, goes off to the pub for afternoon drink. Anyway, next day she's going out for afternoon drink again. Passes the charity shop. It's in the window.
And the chances are her friends are going to pass by.
That was a dilemma.
Of course.
She had to buy it back.
That's brilliant.
At a hugely inflated price. For those that are American listeners, Comic Relief here is a sort of it happens every other year, and people often do things in their workplace or at school. They can dress up, they can raise money in different fun ways, and we were told in a school assembly, it was Comic Relief next Friday, everyone has to come along dressed up in fancy dress to school on that day.
Has to?
Yeah, they said have to dress up. They said you pay 50p towards Comic Relief, and you have to pay £1 if you don't dress up. Right?
That's annoying, isn't it?
So of course I'm looking forward to this because I'm a sort of aspiring comedian and that get to dress up like a clown, right? Spent quite a lot of time getting the old clown outfit together.
What did that look like?
The shoes, obviously, I just wore my regular shoes.
Exactly, yeah.
But I had the red nose, a wig, the whole deal. Big bow tie that my mum made for me. I thought this is going to be the best day ever, right? Get to school. I want you to picture this scene, right? During the assembly in my class of 30. School uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform. Lanky kid dressed as a clown. School uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school. There was 3 people in the entire school who dressed up.
But Steve, you're 50p.
Yes, but then worse than that, it turns out I was furious because I look like an utter dick. Obviously, it turns out that what happened, I don't know whether I missed this information, but apparently the headmaster must have had another assembly where he told me that he